Is here, new single out today, Super Bad, and it goes along with the album that is coming out as well. You started at such a young age, and then I'm very happy to know we have a mutual friend who's been on the show several times.
Lori
Laughlin. Lori Laughlin.
How did she help you?
Lori definitely was responsible for giving me sort of one of my big breaks out here in Hollywood, I guess you could say. When I was 16, I moved out here for my first ever pilot season, and I made the rounds like every other, struggling actor in this town, and, was auditioning for all the pilots, and Summerland was a show on the WB at the time before it became the CW, and Lori was EPing the show, and she gave me my first big job out here in Hollywood. So she, I'm definitely owe a lot of my acting career to her.
Well, you're a very prolific writer too. I mean, you co-wrote "Bleeding Love," Lewis's song, which was a mega hit.
Yeah, it sort of took us all by surprise. That song sat around in our music files for months, almost a year probably. Originally it was written for my album, and I think collectively we decided it was more of a female-oriented record, and Simon Cowell was looking for a big pop diva ballad for Leona, who we didn't even know who that was at the time. She was big over in the UK, and she came over and she cut it, and
she went Idol over in the
X
UK.
Factor.
X Factor.
And it sort of kind of took the world by storm. We had no idea that it was going to be the song that it was.
Well, in Technicolor, this is what, a 2-year process for you, right?
Just
on this
about,
album?
yeah. I mean, I think the longest part was just deciding what sort of sound I wanted to, where I wanted to be musically and sonically, and it started taking shape about a year into the process. We realized that I wanted to do this sort of kind of retro 60s, 70s sort of pop funk kind of sound, and so In Technicolor was conceived, and it's finally finished. It's coming out in July, a full album.
And Super Bad is the inspiration behind this particular cut on that.
Well, when I was working with a group of producers called the 11, who produced the majority of this album in New York. And we sat down. We knew we wanted to write something really stripped down, which is one of the hardest things to do.
What does that mean, stripped down?
Just, the bare essentials: guitar, bass, and vocals. And there's drums as well. But it's really easy to overproduce a pop song. And it's funny. A lot of producers will call it reducing instead of producing, because it's it's a hard thing to do, to make it sound amazing, but still just the bare essentials. And so Super Bad, I think, is just a really good reflection of the album in its entirety and what it will sound like. It's just about, the baddest girl on the planet.
All right. Let's hear Super Bad. All right. Let's go.
Take it away.
She's a miracle. She got everybody talking. She don't care at all. Watch the way she's walking. Ooh, she's a classic girl. Danger in her touch. She should come with a warning when she starts to stuff. Every head is turning new. She's a classic girl. My girl is super bad, superstar. Got no time for photographs. Watch her. My girl is super bad, that's a fact. Knock your train right off the track. Watch her. She's divine all the time, and everything she does is always by design. My girl is super bad, that's a fact. Knock your train right off the track. Watch her. Treat her like a queen, don't need no permission. Sexy's her routine. She's the definition. Ooh, she's a classic girl. My girl is super bad, superstar. Got no time for photographs. Watch her. My girl is super bad, that's a fact. Knock your train right off the track. Watch her. She's divine all the time, and everything she does is always by design. My girl is super bad, that's a fact. Knock your train right off the track. Watch her. You feel me? girl's a supersonic sex machine. She'll put the technicolor in your screen. And she's a super psychedelic dream. Yeah, my girl is super, super, super. My girl is super bad, super sad. Got no time for photographs, watch out. My girl is super bad, that's a fact. Knock your train right off the track, watch out. She's divine all the time, and everything she does is always by side. My girl is super bad, that's a fact. Knock your train right off the track, watch out. Watch out.
Yeah! That sounds good. Very good. Super bad, by the way, available on iTunes. Follow him on the Twitter at Jessie McCartney. Guys, thank you so very, very